all my aquariums in one video. What? Let's go! What's going on, everybody? It is Jay Wilson, and you're looking at an empty tank with a beta to follow at some point. Been working on it. Guys been busy. I've been busy. I'll figure it out, but really excited to see a fish in this little enclosure. But the next tank up is none other than the shell-dwelling tank. You know I'm crazy, you know I'm a lunatic, and you know I'm awesomely excited about Lake Tanganyika. So the shell dwellers are doing well. This little community is holding itself together. I couldn't ask for a better small enclosure. Folks, if you've got a 15-gallon or more laying around, do yourself a favor and get yourself some Lake Tanganyikan shell dwellers or a community style. Put some rocks in there and some shells and just have a good time. But overall, the schedule and maintenance of this tank is so minimal, I would almost do 5 or 6 of these if I was allowed to in my home. However, you know, all of these tanks right now are being maintained by me throughout the week. This one, however, I'll say it again, I'm still testing it, have not done a water change. I let it evaporate and then I fill it back up. It is running off of an FX4, which is probably why I don't have to. There's just not enough fish and a large filter to get the job done. I don't want them to breed necessarily, so if they spawn, great. If they don't, not a big deal. But if I was going to, yes, I would in fact do a water change. But these guys are being fed just boom, look at that. A mixture of Northfin 1mm krill and cichlid formula. They love it, they do well on it, they fight over it, but not enough to be aggressive, like Lake Malawi's cichlids. So I do appreciate you checking out Lake Tanganyika shell dwelling tank that I've got going on here. Let me know in the comments what you got and what you're excited about, and if you're ready to make the dive to the Lake Tanganyika tank. So next up is none other than the breeding group. And I can say that because I've successfully bred these fish multiple times. I've got 5 fry up in the top right. As you can see, the male is still dominant as ever. The background is luscious. The rock work is on point. The sand accents everything. This is just a very monotone tank to display the male's colors. So when the male comes out, the colors come out. Peacock females are absolutely hideous. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are just plain Jane brown, almost to the point where it's like, really? Can I paint them? But if you buy a breeding group, it means that they've successfully bred. If they're not breeding, they're not a breeding group. They're just a group of X fish. So these Cape McClear, I've got another male, I've got a couple female. If anybody is in the Dallas area or the Texas area that's interested in a breeding group, don't hesitate to get with me. I'll give them a good price. I'm really just going to start cleaning out the peacocks and possibly some haps over time. But this is definitely a beautiful breeding group with a perfect ratio of a couple males to quite a few females. I'd have to do another count if you were really interested. But overall, great tank, great look, great vibe, and they breed. So if you're interested in breeding, they're already proven. Otherwise, this tank is very easy maintenance as well, just like the shell-dwelling tank. These guys are eating krill and cichlid formula just like the Tanganyikan fish. And very minimal maintenance. I probably do a water change once every month. I've got an FX6 rocking on here, and I'm not feeding every single day. And I do water changes just to spark the breeding activity. So next up is none other than a tank that you normally don't see, but my Mbuna, my Pseudotropheus tank. Now all of these fish are actually from a fellow YouTuber, Facebook fish, crazy guy. Sean Pierce took a bunch of Mbuna from us a while ago that we just had kind of just taking up space in a sense. And it's really cool to watch them. They're very interactive. And if I was going to dedicate myself to Lake Malawi again, it would probably be in the Pseudotropheus manner. And if Pseudotropheus means not Tropheus, or, false Tropheus. And so, but look at the colors. To me, there's a lot more activity, but there is a lot of aggression when it comes to Mbuna, so that's something you have to keep in mind. So when you're looking at lakes or aquariums like this one, you have to understand if you're a very busybody, Mbuna are going to be perfect. If you're looking for something with some color that's not as busy but still aggressive, haps and peacocks are going to be there, or your signature predator haps. Those are going to be the fish that will constantly keep you busy. But if you're looking for something that's just really nice, relaxing, still moving, working, and colors and flashes of just super great personality, that's why I switched to Lake Tanganyika. But this tank has been doing really well. There's an FX6 on this as well. It's not filled all the way up. I was testing something to see if more surface agitation helps a bunch of different parameters, and maybe a video to follow on that. But overall, these guys just eat veggie formula and spirulina wafers, kelp wafers from Northfin. So really cool. On to the next one. The moment you've all been waiting for. This is the 500-gallon African Cichlid Predator tank. It's outfitted to feel like a lake, to look like a lake, to be dramatic like a lake. It's super clear. I've got 2 FX6s running on this bad boy, and everybody seems to be doing well. However, I do want to point out that, so today, one of the guys that does aquarium maintenance, came in, and he was like, hey, the Venustus is just kind of looking a little dark. What's going on? And I had been saying for the last few months that he is getting very old. My goodness, look at the Strigatus. But he is getting very old. So we've had him just over a year. The guy that had him before, shout out to you, sir, if you're listening or watching, because I greatly appreciate that you watch my videos. But he gave the fish to us, and he had the fish, I think he said 4 or 5 years, and the fish was 5 inches when he got him. So I would estimate that this fish is probably around 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. So he's on his way out. He's been in multiple tanks. He does really well with everyone. He eats very well. He's very active, but he's old. So I'm not surprised if he doesn't last much longer. However, I'm not going to stress him out and move him so he can live in solitary confinement. He's still holding his own, no tattered fins, and still shows signs of being gregarious when the food does hit the water. So there's no point in moving him. But everybody else is doing well. The Exochromis doesn't seem to be growing as fast as I'd like, but that happens. The Nigraventor is doing very well. The Strigatus has blossomed into a beautiful young lad. The trout, the barracuda, everybody's doing fairly well. I would have to say overall my favorite fish in here is the smaller Venustus right now. Other than the Buccochromis, because Buccochromis are just silly fish. They're like clowns. But the catfish are doing well. This tank is a joy to look at. It is not overstocked. It is possibly slightly understocked, but it's working right now. And while there's stability in the tank, I'm not going to jack with it because I've worked this hard to get there to it, and I don't want to mess it up. Now, the Compressiceps, the Malawi eye biter, I'd like it to be a little bit bigger, and we're getting there. The Holitania is still bigger than ever, super dark, super aggressive. But overall, everybody's well. Not a lot of nitpicking. The Esox does very well in here, being as small as he is. I hope to see that fish just blossom here in the next few months, and we just got to wait and see. But, definitely an exciting time for this tank because I am transitioning to another lake, and I still get to enjoy Lake Malawi every day at work. So it's pretty neat. So the next tank is the community tank, and the community tank is just that. It's a community tank. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm bored of it. There is really no growth except out of the lemon tetras. It's a very calming tank. The scape is very nice. The fish move very well. The panda cories, they've done their breeding. I'm really excited to see those little guys grow. The angels are very delicate, I've found. I don't know if this is angels in general or if it's just because it got super warm in here in terms of heat. I mean, we went from like 70s to 100. So there's no heating or cooling within the area that they're in, so they're basically an ambient temperature, so it fluctuates with the weather, which is pretty decent because it gets decently warm and it gets decently cold, and I can put heaters in the winter. But overall, just kind of bored with this tank. I've lost a couple angels, which could have been the heat. I really don't know. Or aggression, because they are an aggressive cichlid. Yes, angelfish are cichlids. But that's it. I mean, I'm really excited. I'm working on another tank that I'm super pumped for. It's a Tropheus tank. If you've stayed till the end, I think you're going to love it. It is something that is, to me, it's a different scaping background. I'm doing a whole series on it, so I'm really pumped. But I want to say thank you. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, tweeting, retweeting, and just being you, watching the channel, spreading the love, enjoying fish. Keep doing that. Put a smile on your face, even if it's a little painful, because it takes a lot more energy to smile than it does to frown, and you'll be a happier person, and the people around you will be happier. You know what's next. Holla!